Hey gardeners, my name is Lindsay and I am the creator of the Mindful Living movement, and it is pretty much time for us to consider taking our plants outside or getting them ready for the outside world. So I wanted to talk about hardening off your plants, how best to go about it, and just to make sure that you have lots of success after you've put in all the effort of starting your own starter plants or paying money for starter plants. It's never fun when we accidentally shock them to death by foisting them out into the world before they are actually ready for it. So hardening off really just means we're getting them ready for wind outside, temperature outside, the full strength of the sun. In most cases, if they've been growing indoors or they've been growing in a greenhouse, they've been living a really cushy life. They have not been fully exposed to all the potential, things that Mother Nature's actually going to throw at it throughout the season. And if we just take it right from our indoor growing space and just take them outside and stick them right in the ground, they will probably go into shock at the very least. Also, potentially they're not ready for the wind, like they're just not strong enough. The leaves also might not be ready for the strength of the sun, so they end up getting burnt. And yeah, one way or another, we're gonna end up with a sad plant. We might even eventually kill it. So that's not good. So hardening off, we're going to try and do over the span of maybe 4 days to 7 days or so is sort of like the window that I like. So we're gonna take our plants from their inside space and we're gonna put them outside somewhere that's pretty protected for the first day, definitely, maybe only an hour or two. I usually sort of tuck my plants almost like maybe up to the side of the fence or the side of the house, even underneath my patio table where they're gonna get bright indirect light, but they're not gonna get the sun, so they can get a little bit of the wind. And we're gonna do this little dance where we take them outside, give them a little bit of exposure, maybe bring them inside or put them back into your greenhouse, into your garage, back outside, sort of finding out whatever that flow is. And every day you're just gonna give it a little bit more time outside in full sun, outside in, windier conditions. And you're gonna need to just pay really close attention. If it's a super, super windy day, just make sure you give them some sort of barrier, no matter what. And if you are watching the leaves and you notice that the leaves start to almost like they get brown patches, or the tips start to get brown, anything like that, that's sun scald. That means they're just not ready for the full strength of the sun yet. So find somewhere that's maybe in that part sun, part shade, like a dapple, light through a tree type of environment would be great, or just really keep it slow, hour of full sun and bring it back. And so little by little, over minimum, I usually say 4 days up to 7 days. Sometimes if I just don't have the time to plant yet, it could be like 2 weeks that they've been, spending outside. And by that point, they're well hardened off. Something also to consider is not necessarily leaving them out at night. Maybe eventually once they work up to being outside all day, but the nighttime temperatures are still dropping down, like your peppers and your tomatoes that don't really love those cool temperatures, maybe still, bringing those back into the greenhouse at night until the nighttime temperatures warm up a little bit more. That could be something to consider. So pay close attention. There might be a day in there where it's just really horrific weather. Maybe you just skip over that day for hardening off your plants outside in the temperatures, because they just might not be ready for that yet. So the one other thing that you need to be careful with, the longer that they get acclimatized with being outside, especially on like hot sunny days, they might be fine from like the leaves. They might be perfectly good with all the strength of the sun, but the pots that they're in are gonna dry out really quickly. Something that's happened to me many, many times is I've put my plants outside for the day, I've gone to work, and I've come home at the end of the day and the pot had long since dried up, even though I gave it a really fantastic watering in the morning, and they were a little droopy. The odd time I think I did actually kill a plant or two, just because it ended up being a way hotter day than it was supposed to, or whatever it is. So being careful that you're watering once, maybe even twice a day, or if you know that it's gonna be really, really hot and you just can't be there to bring them back and forth, maybe just keep them in a more shady space to kind of protect that you don't end up coming home from work and all your plants are cooked, because that's never fun. And yeah, that's about it. Just watch closely. Watch for if anything snaps. It's definitely too much wind. It's not ready for the wind yet, but hopefully don't put it in that risk. And watch for leaves, potentially burning, and then just make sure that they're not getting too shocked by colder temperatures, like bringing them back inside at night, maybe for a little while, or moving them into a garage instead of being outside for it the whole time. So I hope that helps out with hardening off your plants and getting them ready for the outside world before you eventually plant them in their home for the summer. We will see you guys again very soon. If you have questions or comments or anything at all, please drop a comment or send me an email. I would love to know what your experience is, even what your favorite window of time is for hardening off your plants outside. We will see you again very soon.